أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. The question is about Laylatul Qadr, and it is important that we recognize the meaning of the phrase. You know, a lot of translations have been given uh, that are believed to stand for the meaning of Laylatul Qadr. And the Quran, as far as we know, embodies all those meanings. So Al-Qadr in Arabic could mean honor, it could mean power, it could mean, uh, the night of decree, because that night is so significant that it is it is it is the night in which uh, Allah, the Most High, assigns roles to his angels in terms of things that are going to happen throughout the year. In other words, from this Ramadan to the next Ramadan, these are the things that are going to be happening in the world in terms of a person's life, in terms of his wealth, in terms of his health, in terms of everything that come, his life way. So it is so important that it is called, when you consider this assignment of roles to the angels, you can translate Laylatul Qadr as the night of decree. And then Al-Qadr could also mean, honor. This is the night of honor, the night in which a lot of people are rescued from hellfire. And then it is also the night in which those people who have been rescued from hellfire, get the luck of getting into paradise. So the night is so significant in that regard. Many people in that night are guided by Allah, and then henceforth they stop doing obscenities, they stop doing what is immoral, they turn, their faces to worshiping Allah and then believing in Him and in His oneness and doing the things He requires them to do, and that in the end, leads them to paradise. So when you take that into consideration, you call it the night of honor. Okay? And then you can also call it the night of power, because Allah, shows the manifestations of His power in that night. Angels descend into this world. They come down to this world led by Angel Gabriel. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالْرُوحُ فِيهَا. The angels descend, okay, together with a ruh, which means Angel Gabriel. They come to this world, and then they stay with Allah's servants throughout the night until dawn. So when you take into account how angels descend, and when you talk about descending, it means a lot of them come. And when you talk about a lot of them coming, it means it signifies the kind of blessing, the magnitude of the blessing that comes to this world in that night. It is the night of honor, the night of power, and the night of decree, and also you can call it the night of excellence. Now, in terms of elaborating on how to identify this night, the Prophet, peace be upon him, gave us some signs. You have a sign that comes after the night has come and gone, and you have some signs that come prior to the night that helps you understand that what is coming is going to be Laylatul Qadr, and helps you understand that what has come and gone is Laylatul Qadr. Now the night that comes after the night, the signs that helps us, the signs that help us understand that the night has come and gone. The Prophet said, the next morning the sun will not be very harsh. It will be a sun without visible rays. It's not going to be scorching. So you're not going to have, when you wake up in the morning after Laylatul Qadr, what you see is calmness, coolness, nothing like harsh and scorchy sun. No, it's calm, quiet, as if the sky is cloudy in a way, and as if it is going to rain. You know the kind of feeling you have when you have clouds in the sky and you think it's going to rain? That is exactly how the weather will look the morning that is next to Laylatul Qadr. So if you wake up in the morning, any morning in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and you see that the sun is not hot and the environment looks much or less like a rainy environment, as if it is cloudy and that it is going to rain, even though the rain is not going to come, that shows that Laylatul Qadr has come and gone. This is a permanent sign given by the Prophet, peace be upon him. It's a permanent sign. It always happens after Laylatul Qadr has come and gone. Now, about the signs that come prior to the night, a lot of people have said different things at different times and different circumstances. But a lot of what has been said is not correct. For example, some people will say, well, if it's going to be Laylatul Qadr tonight, dogs are not going to be barking. That is not true. Neither in the Quran nor in the prophetic Sunnah, not even anywhere in the sayings of the companions of the Prophet, it is stated that, it is one of the signs of Laylatul Qadr that dogs cannot bark, in the afternoon or in the evening that come before the night. That is not true. So you might find dogs barking. It is no way a sign of Laylatul Qadr. The sign that is certain about Laylatul Qadr as a sign coming before the night is the feeling of calmness. Because the Quran says, Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. It is going to be, a night of peace, a night of quiet, a night of calmness, a night of serenity. Now, if a Muslim has that feeling that something is calm about the environment this evening, okay, something is tranquil, and you have the peace of mind, that is a significant sign telling you that what you are facing tonight is probably going to be Laylatul Qadr. So these are the signs that come before and after. After tells you the night has come and gone. Before gives you an inkling, some sort of information that you've got to prepare this night with the calmness you're seeing and the tranquility you're feeling and the peace you are enjoying, okay, in your mind and your environment. That tells you that something big is going to come. And then you begin to ask yourself, why, for example, why is that calmness coming? It is because the angels are descending. The environment has to change. And then, the sun is radiant in nature. It shines. Now, but the angels are made of what? Of light. And their radiance is more than the radiance of the sun. So it dwarfs, it minimizes the shininess of the sun. And that's why it is an environment of calmness, of quiet, of lack of rays, okay, of peace, because the angels are nothing but, creatures that signify and are emblematic of what? Of peace and nothing but peace. So these are the signs of Laylatul Qadr in terms of what comes prior to it and what comes after it. The second question is about what a Muslim needs to do to seek that night. Is it necessary that a Muslim should observe itikaf to seek for the night? Well, initially, the Prophet himself did not know exactly when Laylatul Qadr would come. The Quran told him already that Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr. The Quran was revealed in that night, which was actually in Ramadan. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ. The Quran gave him all this information. The information was given to the Prophet, but he didn't know where exactly when exactly and how to find the night. So if something is not clear to a Muslim, what a Muslim does is to refer his affair to Allah that knows everything. And that was what the Prophet did. Initially, he started itikaf, we call it retreat in English, in the first 10 days of Ramadan, asking Allah, praying, supplicating that Allah should show him when and how to determine and get that night. Now, when he spent a lot of time asking, supplicating for that, and there was no response, now he thought it was wise to shift his retreat, his itikaf, to the middle of Ramadan, the 10 middays of Ramadan. Okay? So, and then he began supplicating again in the 10 days of Ramadan. And then it was shown to him. Laylatul Qadr was shown to the Prophet. And he got it right. And it came in that year on the night of the 21st day of Ramadan. When Ramadan was 20th, the Prophet had a dream that he saw himself, doing sujood. Okay? Doing sujood. And his forehead was wet with sand and water, and there was rain, and it was cloudy. He saw that in his dream, the 20th day of Ramadan, and he informed his companions. So when the Prophet did his itikaf on the 20th day of Ramadan, and he was getting ready to, go out of itikaf, to end his itikaf the next morning, and when it was the time for subh prayer, morning prayer, the Prophet prayed, and when he was praying, all of a sudden, the sky became cloudy, and it started raining, and the rain came down to the inside of his mosque, and the Prophet prayed, and then everyone saw the Prophet pray in rain. His forehead was wet by water and by sand. And that, what did that do? That actually testified to the reality of the dream, and that the night the Prophet spent, that night which led to the 21st day of Ramadan, was actually the day that gave the Prophet the night of Laylatul Qadr. So the Prophet was shown that night once in his life, and that was the 21st. But then he said, Unsitu. Then I was made to forget the night. In other words, Allah, in his infinite power, changed everything. And then the night now began to shift. It began to shift within the 10 days of Ramadan. And then the Prophet told his companions who had a dream. And the dreams, all of them had, individually, was tallying. And the Prophet said, Ara ru'yakum kattawata'at. I can see that your dreams are tallying. Because all of them dreamt that Laylatul Qadr was in, the odd days. The odd days, 21st night, 23rd night, 25th night, 27th, 29th of Ramadan. That was how the dreams came. And the Prophet said, I saw your dreams tallying, so you go search for the night of honor, the night of power, the night of decree, Laylatul Qadr. Go search for it in the odd nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan. And then in other traditions, the Prophet said, search for the night in the last 10 days. Iltamisuha fil ashr al-awakhiri. Search for the night in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. 10 days of Ramadan. So Allah in his infinite wisdom made the night it's not clear cut. It can be in the odd nights, it can be in the even nights. What a Muslim has to do is actually to make sure he doesn't waste his time in the last 10 days of Ramadan. You just keep praying in the night, keeping it in vigil, asking Allah for his mercy, asking Allah to bless your life, to give you what is good in this world and in the hereafter. Don't waste your time. The whole nights in the last 10 days of Ramadan are significant enough because the night resides in them. Not definite. Nobody can say it is this night for sure. Okay? but you have been given the signs, and then you can, in a way, determine which night is it after it has passed, it has come and gone, because you have the sign that comes after the night. So the night is not definite, but what is definite about it is that it comes in the last 10 days of Ramadan, and every Muslim is required to keep the night in vigil, the nights of the last 10 days in vigil. Don't waste your time. The Prophet was reported as doing this by his wife Aisha radiallahu anha. She said, إِذَا دَخَلَ الْأَشْرِ, if the last 10 days of Ramadan set in, أَحْيَا اللَّيْلَ, the Prophet spent the whole night in vigil, the whole night of the 10 days, praying, asking Allah for forgiveness, for mercy, for blessings. That's what he did throughout the nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan. أَحْيَا اللَّيْلَ وَأَيْقَظَ أَهْلَهُ, he wakes up his family, his wives, all of them. He asks, the whole family becomes prayerful in the night, the last 10 days. Everybody in the family has to wake up, pray, ask for blessings, ask for guidance, ask for protection, okay? Ask for Allah's refuge and help against your enemy. Ask for paradise, but don't forget the hereafter. Only the foolish-minded concentrate their prayer on the world and forget about the hereafter. Those who do that, according to the Quran, will have no share in the hereafter. A Muslim is the one that prays for his world and his hereafter. No Muslim of no Muslim who is in his senses would discount the hereafter only because he loved the world. If you do that, you are inviting disaster into your life, because the Quran says you don't have a share, you don't have anything in the hereafter if you just pray for this world and forget about the hereafter. So when we keep the night in vigil in the last 10 days of Ramadan and pray and pray and pray, we should ensure that our prayer encompasses this world and the hereafter. So this is about determining the night and what a person needs to do as a Muslim in the night. Okay? And then the next question is about, is it true that only those who observe itikaf can successfully witness Laylatul Qadr? It is not true. The reason the Prophet observed itikaf was because he didn't know what Laylatul Qadr is all about. It was revealed to him, but he wanted to have more information to be able to determine how to understand when the night comes, how it comes, okay? So he can keep the night in vigil. And that was why he spent the first 10 days of Ramadan and then later the mid 10 days of Ramadan doing intikaf, asking Allah to guide him, to understand him, how to determine the night and how to win the mercy that a Muslim can get from the night. So to say that only those who observe itikaf are those that can have the blessings of Laylatul Qadr, that is not true. It is twice away from truth. So either you are doing the itikaf or you are not doing it. So long as you keep the night in vigil and you spend the last 10 days, the nights, all the nights in the last 10 days of Ramadan, you keep all those nights in vigil, praying, supplicating, asking Allah for mercy and blessing, you will definitely win the pleasure of getting that night. Okay, whether you are at your home, in your house, in your bedroom, okay, or someone is in the mosque, that does not determine that because you are in the mosque, you are the only person to, you understand, to get the benefits of Laylatul Qadr. No. But those who get the benefits, whatever your location, house, mosque, market, anywhere, whatever your location, those who get the benefit are those who keep the night in vigil, those who pray, who don't go sleeping, So when you pray and you ask Allah for his forgiveness, you read the Quran, you recite the Quran in that night, you do the istighfar, asking for forgiveness, all those things are things you do to actually win the blessings of the night. Because the night is so significant that if you say, for instance, Subhanallah, you sanctify Allah, you glorify him for just a second, it will take a person who does not meet Laylatul Qadr, it will take him more than 83 years to have the reward that you are going to have. Because the Quran says, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. Laylatul Qadr, the night of power, the night of decree, the night of honor, is better 1,000 times more than any night that is not Laylatul Qadr. Now, 1,000 divided by 12, which is the number of months in a year, gives you 83.3 years. So it means the benefits, the blessings, the things you get in Laylatul Qadr are 83 years times more than what you get in the night that is not Laylatul Qadr. It is so important, and being in the mosque, in your house, in your bedroom, does not make you the one who wins the night. What makes you win the night is how you keep the night in vigil, how you supplicate, how you pray. If someone goes to the mosque and sleeps and does nothing, he goes to the mosque, sleeps and does nothing, and you stay in your bedroom and pray and ask Allah for forgiveness and mercy, you win the pleasure and he doesn't win it. Okay? So what is important is how you spend the night in vigil. Is it correct to say that if a Muslim goes back to committing sins after the holy month of Ramadan, that means that his Ramadan, the fasting he does in Ramadan is not accepted? No. If you go back sinning after Ramadan, that's a different thing from what you do in Ramadan. If you do your work for the sake of Allah and for Allah alone, okay, without shirk, without doing to be seen of men, you don't want, showing off. No, you just did it for Allah alone. Allah will accept your ibadah, okay? And then after Ramadan, you go back to sin, that comes back to your life with negativities, with bad things. It's a different thing entirely from what you have done in Ramadan. So your work in Ramadan is something different from what you do after Ramadan. Every work, okay, is accounted for in accordance with its own circumstances. So sinning outside Ramadan has its consequences, and then doing good deeds in Ramadan has its benefits as well. Two different things entirely. Inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.